Richard, what'd you do? No, this isn't my AMC 304. That's the spare AMC 304. If you've been paying attention to all of our AMC craziness around here, we do happen to have 3 of these 1979 AMC Spirit AMXs. That's the one that came out of the car that's the third car. But it had a wedged in distributor issue. However, we did need to steal some bits and pieces off that in order to get my max bore 304 moving forward. For those who aren't familiar, AMC 304 V8, bore 0.125 over. Going to be running a set of Jeep pistons. Should be a pretty cool, pretty fun little street car build. We're not trying to shoot for the moon here. We're building ourselves a good little motor, but it's not going to be anything nuts. However, we have a lot of construction to get done, so that means Rich is going to do all the work, and I'm not.
Alright, so I decided to take a little more time to work on this 304 max bore that we have. You can see my pistons are actually 26 thou below deck, and then we have gasket service, and we have this really large difference. You can see this is a 360 head gasket, and the 304 would be in about there. These are about halfway between, I think. Probably not quite halfway out from where the original 304 would be. But I wanted to work on the oiling system for the distributor drive gear, because the distributor drive gear gets its oil through the crankshaft, or sorry, through the camshaft gear. It goes through the keyways, and then it comes out 1, 2, that one's blocked, 3, 4 holes. So we're going to make sure those holes are clear. We're going to make sure that this hole lines up with this guy. So I put some grease on here. I'm going to put this up on to the cam. I'm going to see where my oiling hole lines up with this recessed slot, and if they line up, then great. If they don't line up, I'm going to modify this so that they do, because this is the most critical part of an engine assembly for an AMC. That is a transfer port. You can see this slot here is where the oil gets transferred. We've got slingers here that sling out, and this guy goes on like so. It continues the oil passage through here with a slinger here for the chain. And this guy goes on here, and the oil comes out here and goes around. It's held in behind this washer, which feeds these oil feed holes. And if these oil feed holes plug, then your distributor goes night-night. So we'll make sure we clean those out. And I just messed up the transfer grease because I'm a dummy. Let's see if we can grab some more grease. I'll be right back. Not really showing anyone. That didn't work. It doesn't look like it's where it needs to be, honestly. You can see it comes up right here. I think we're all right. We've got about half exposure to that oiling hole. So I think I'm going to open up that chamfer a little bit. So I'm going to open it up this way just a hair. Just to give it a little better path. $79 thou minus 26 is 53 thou. So the gasket's 53 thou. Figure that'll be half that once it's compressed. So we should have just enough room for something to put a power adder in there. Force more air in. That should be fun. We'll do that math later. So 26 was my piston depth and 79 was piston depth with the gasket. Let's write that down because I'm going to forget. My pen. Rear. I'm whittling away at this AMC 325, and our 360 heads have all new exhaust valves, intake valves touched up really quickly with a clean grind. New springs, new positive lock seals. These are the adjustable rocker arm trunnions, so these should work pretty well. I decided not to do any porting on these heads. We're going to see what they run on this engine without any porting magic. I may do a set of ported heads on it at another date, but not right now. Got stuck. I'm going to hang this head over here on this engine and get it bolted down with some ARP head bolts. Keep things in place. Heads are on, it's time for some valve training. Conch cam lifters are installed. We have a PRW harmonic balancer for this. PRW. We already have it installed with the 1102 weights, which was balanced with the rotating assembly. It actually comes with three different weights for AMC. It's got stickers. Amazing. Rocker arms. Let's do our rocker arms next.
Put some pretty new rocker arms on there. Yeah. Pretty new PRW. These are their latest and greatest.
1.6 rockers?
1.6 rockers. Also, the same rocker you would put on a Ford 302. Consequently, same thing.
Just so happens that we might be doing one of those pretty soon too. Getting it out of all the baggies.
Allow me to do some shameless product placement here. PRW rockers. We're running their 1.6 rockers. These are the latest and greatest from the folks at PRW. We have run a lot of their stuff in the past. We've run multiple different flywheels from them, balancers from them, water pumps from them. My AMC 304 V8 that has zero problems with overheating on Power Tour, that's also their water pump, which consequently is also going to be going, there's an identical one sitting over there that's going to be going on this one as well. But this is their new 1.6 rocker. It is the same thing for small block Fords. It's the same thing for Oldsmobiles. It's the same thing for Pontiac. It's the same thing for AMCs. So roller assembly, very nice piece, not super expensive. One of the nice things with the PRW stuff is it's good quality stuff, but without crazy pricing. You can certainly spend more money on a rocker setup than the PRWs. And if you want to do that, that's cool. If you want to get it in orange or whatever else you like it, good for you. But for my purposes, this is exactly what we want. Plus with the high lift camshaft we put in here, this is going to be a pretty rowdy setup. And we're freeing up some extra Hurst torques because roller. Rich is going to play with my push rods.
Screwing studs with the wrong size. Polylocks with the wrong size. I don't know the right size polylock. Hang on a second. Actually what we'll do is we'll get new studs. They'll be the right size and they'll be stronger because they'll be thicker. Stronger is better. So we'll get those coming. Didn't think about that before. Oh well. Minor problem. Pretty good, actually. Be a little bit longer. That's pretty close. I think we're gonna run it. pretty close. I'll take it. See, my contact patch is from there to about there, which is pretty close to the center line. So I will take it. The new push rods are about 1/4 of an inch longer than the factory rods, but it pushed it from the back more towards the center. So that's what we want. Let's put our new push rods in. So I'm in time. My number 6 intake is starting to lift. I'm going to rotate that around until the intake valve is basically between a half and 2/3 closed. Just there. Puts me on base circle. That's a 0 lash. And these are supposed to be adjusted a half turn from 0 lash. We're actually going to just 0 lash plus these so that we can break them in, because if it floats the valves, we don't want it to lift the valves into the heads. We're going to be tuning this on the dyno, so we'll be adjusting the valves anyway, but I'm just going to do an initial base setup at 0 lash plus like a flat, just to keep it loose. When you spin it, bring your lash down, push rod gets tight, that's your 0 lash. And I'm just going to take it 1 flat, and then I'll lock that down. So then I will take the exhaust valve, so the exhaust valve is just lifting, and I'll be on the base circle for the intake, and then I can adjust the intake to that same piece. So I will hold the nut, and I'll lock down the poly lock, and there you go. That one is adjusted. Yeah, so then I just get to do that to all of these. So I'm going to paint mark these as I lock them down. I mean, I know they're locked down, but I still paint mark them so I know that I'm done.
Well, folks, that's where we're going to leave this guy, mostly assembled. At this point in time, we got to get the front cover and oil pump and all that kind of stuff on. Not real exciting there. Got to get the intake manifold on. But as far as the major assembly bits and pieces, all that stuff's been done. So for those of you who are interested in bits and pieces, parts, and that kind of stuff, the PRW rocker arms we used, 0330-205. These are the 1/6 rockers from PRW. Right there. This is their performance quotient, which is their high-end good stuff. Again, I mentioned, I believe at some point in time, that we're going to be using their water pump. I've got another one of those sitting over here. Pardon all the extra stuff, the things, other projects. High volume aluminum water pump, PRW. Exactly the same one that we have on the 304 that's in the car now. Great unit, does a fantastic job of keeping the car cool. Not crazy expensive. A bit more expensive than a standard water pump, but well worth it. As far as the rocker studs, we did upgrade those. Here's my receipt from Jegs, just so you guys don't think that we're getting all of our stuff for free. We're paying for this stuff, but we did upgrade the rocker studs to be able to fit the poly locks that come with this, and because they're better than the old screw-in. It came with screw-in studs, but we upgraded to better screw-in studs. So ARP part number 070. Well, excuse me. That's the Jegs part number. ARP part number 134-1, or excuse me, dash 7103. 7/16 rocker arm studs. So that got our poly locks handled out, our rockers on. We then needed to end up picking up longer push rods, as Rich showed you, to be able to get the circle correctly on the tip of the valve. And we ended up going with a set of Magnum push rods from Comp. These are 5/16, 7.95 inches. Part number for those guys is 7694-16. And we used comp cams for a number of reasons. One, because the Magnum camshaft that's in this thing is also comp cams. Two is because it was available. Almost nothing was available as far as push rods for this thing goes, other than Jegs happen to have 2 sets of these Magnums that are going to work out. And it got us almost perfectly to where we needed to be. Question as far as the camshaft goes, because I'm sure a bunch of people are going to ask that. The part number on the camshaft, again, comp cams, 10-203-4. It is a bit aggressive. It's a 480 camshaft. You can look it up online if you're interested in it. It's designed to be a bit higher rev range. It's going to have a considerably more rough of an idle. It's going to sound awesome in that little AMX. It's probably going to ruin a little bit of the daily driver characteristics of it. But we want to be able to push this thing a bit harder and go up a little bit higher in the rev range. And I think that's going to be the camshaft for it. Again, it's a Comp Cam's Magnum camshaft. And that gets us to where we are now. So finish off the front cover, get everything else done, get all the oil stuff underneath done, put the oil pan on. We're gonna take, I believe, my Brawler carburetor that I have on the car now and put that on this as well. And we're gonna run it on that 650 Brawler mechanical secondary carb. We are gonna break this in and run this at McVeigh's. I already spoke with Uncle Bob about it, and we're looking at something in the middle of July as far as when he's gonna have available time to be able to put this thing on the dyno, because we want to break this thing in and do everything we possibly can on the dyno in case we have any complications. It's a lot bigger pain in the neck fixing that when it's sitting in between the fender rails versus sitting on a dyno. If we got an oil leak we got to fix out, if we got some kind of small little thing we need to change, it's a much easier process to just do it right there on the dyno or pull it off and fix it in the shop versus humping a fender to be able to do it. It's well worth the time, well worth the money and energy to do it. And Bob is graciously allowing us to be able to use his dyno to be able to do it. So that's something you're going to see here very shortly. That's where we are, man. I appreciate you guys coming around. This is going to be a fun little build. You know, we're not engine builders. It's not really what we do here. But this is kind of one of the, you know, budget-ish builds. We're still not getting crazy on this thing. That I think a lot of people would be interested in, and for some reason you don't ever see anybody doing you know, AMC 304 builds, so why shouldn't we build something cool with an AMC 304? Ends up being 325 cubic inches. I did run the numbers as far as the dish and the pistons, the chamber and the heads, the head gasket we used, all that kind of stuff, and we're going to be right in the neighborhood of 9-to-1 compression. Just shy of that, which is perfectly fine. It's basically exactly where the other motor was. We didn't want to push this thing too terribly hard. We are going to beat the absolute snot out of this motor because that car is probably going to see some road race stuff here in the not too distant future, and we want to be able to build a motor that's going to be able to take abuse for a long period of time. I don't want to run on the ragged edge. I'm not a run it at 99% kind of guy. So we've got a lot of good quality parts that are going to be able to handle it. We're going to be able to beat the heck out of this thing and have a good time with it. If we want to add some sort of a, you know, forced induction power adder at some point in time in the future, there's room for that. We could run 8 pounds of boost on this thing without problems whatsoever and still run pump gas, which is, you know, typically kind of our thing. We're pump gas kind of people. And when I say pump gas, I mean like the stuff that comes out of a normal gas pump when you go to any gas station, not when you have to go get a specialty gas pump. Because when you're going on power tour, you can't always find that kind of stuff. So that's where we are, guys. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. There's going to be more coming for this thing. We got 4th of July weekend coming up. For those of you who ordered merchandise, I have basically everything output or shipped at this point in time that's been ordered, other than a few things that I'm waiting to come in. This is also going to be the end of me ordering shirts for the founding members of the Church of Bad Decisions shirts. Those shirts are going to be done. So what I have in stock and what I already have ordered, that's going to be it. That's going to be the ones that are up on the website. After that, I'm going to remove the founding member part, and it's just going to be members. So I have updated the website to reflect purely what we have in stock. So once those are gone, they're gone, and then we're going to be moving on to a different shirt design. I do apologize as far as all of the crazy complications with shipping and stuff. I didn't expect the volume of stuff that we had to do and the amount of interest we had in our product, and it's very humbling that you guys are interested in wearing our stuff, so thank you very much. I was just 100% not prepared with what we were going to have to deal with everything else that I have going on in my life and trying to keep things running around here the way they do. I got overwhelmed, and it's entirely my fault. I do apologize about that. So, yeah. Happy 4th of July. If I don't see you between here and there, have a great time. Enjoy the weekend. Be safe. Yay, America. We'll see you on the next one. Got some fun stuff ahead. July is going to be a very, 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 very busy month. Very busy month. Something going on every single weekend. There's going to be some off-road racing. There's going to be some drag strip stuff. There may be some road racing. Going to be builds. All kinds of cool stuff. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. You know how it goes. Take care. Bye-bye.